This channel is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken as legal advice. Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday. Wow, the week went by really quickly. Phenomenal weekend it was. To go ahead and celebrate a lot. My mother just retired from being a registered nurse for 42 years. Wow. So congratulations to my mother on that one. It was exciting to celebrate. Also, another thing to celebrate is the huge passive income opportunities that we're talking about today, and my personal experience doing into this, about how I got into the private. I got my private business credit with my business trust, and how I utilize that for passive income. We're going to get into all of that and more. But before we get started, if you have not hit that subscribe and notification bell, now is the time to do it so you don't miss out on all the latest Creditor Academy updates, as well as the amazing community that we have here. Okay, so diving right in, let me first of all say that if you're not already familiar, business credit is the foundation of how to go ahead and get funding. I'm going to ask you a very important question for all of you that are viewing me right now. And really, I'm talking to you only. I'm just talking to you. And I'm here to ask you just one question. What is the most important thing to learn before you start a private business? What is the most important thing to learn? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever said, whatever it might be, maybe you want to be own a car dealership. Maybe you want to go ahead and do real estate. Maybe you want to get into this Turo game. Maybe you want to get into other passive income. But before you even take that first step, what do you need to learn first? What's the most valuable piece of information in order for you to have the likelihood of success tenfold? You know, I asked this question on a TikTok live the other day when I was on my friend's account, and thousands of people were watching on that. I'll repost it later. And basically, we asked ourselves that question. I asked that question. I said, hey, you're talking about business. You're talking about the private. You're talking about making passive income. What do you think it is? And his answer was that I think that the most important thing to learn is to learn about the industry that you're getting into, which I thought was a pretty reasonable answer. Would anybody else have a suggestion? What else do you think is the most important thing that you would need to learn before starting a business or getting into a certain industry? Anybody? I've heard a number of things.
Would it be finances?
Yeah. Okay. Finance is a good one. What else? What else do you think? Who else would be like, hey, what's the most important thing to learn? Steven's like, I got it. What do you think the most important thing to learn is, Steven, before you start a business?
You asking me or Steve?
I'm talking to you. Sorry, I meant Steven.
Oh, wait, why you call me out like that, bro?
Why you call it out?
I don't know. I got a combination of things. I would think one of the two. I think one is understanding what the monetary system you're up against. Like, I did do research. Like I think somebody said about Turo thing, and I still got in not being aware of who I am when I got into it. So just being aware of who you are, the value that you bring, right, and what it looks like. So I think that would be where you would start.
Wow, Steven, that is deep. I gotta say, man, it is so true. Is kind of digging deep within and finding out what you're capable of. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of confidence in yourself in order to go out and act independently, move away from your 9-to-5 secure job, be able to say to your family or yourself, hey, I'm going to try to make it and do it on my own, and not knowing what the future may hold. I mean, that is
that's, you know what, it is a piggyback right off you. And the reason why I say that is not even what you said is valid. I'm not refusing any of that. It's just not like based on what I've learned through this movement in the Creditor Academy, right?
Mhm.
I would hang my whole conversation on that hierarchy you gave us. That whole
Mhm.
God, we the people, and understand. And this is your position in life. So if you go get a business, Turo business, real estate, and you didn't get that understanding, it'll be nothing for them to take that away from you because you don't know who you are. Like God, we the people, the state, the federal government, and then all these entities and corporate entities. And you say if you turn it upside down, this is where people mess up. They got it all upside down, like God is on the bottom somewhere, and and you're like operating like a slave. So until you understand who you are and the power you possess, it doesn't matter what business you get, it doesn't matter what industry you get into, you're gonna get exploited or taken advantage of because you're not aware of who you are in this system. So
Wow. Stephen, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, that is so crucial when and that's why it's so important to be in the private. It's
yeah,
so, yeah, you reestablish your position. And wow, I was not expecting that as an answer, but it rings so true to me after you said that. And you know what? These are all great answers. Let me tell you, I'm not saying one in particular. You should learn about the industry that you're going to get into before you get started on it. You should know what your position in society is and how it is that you can operate in the private. But third, which I would say is the most important, is you need to know how to fund this project. And you need to know how the monetary system works. Listen, debt in this monetary system, this banking cartel that has taken over, debt equals money. And the more debt they lend out to you, the more money that the machine or the bank is going to go ahead and make. The more money or the more interest that the bank makes, then they can send it back to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, off of their fractional banking, makes a profit off of the interest of all the banks that make interest off of you. And then all of that gets sent over to the mint, to the United States Mint, to keep on printing this fractional money banking in there. So I say that not as to go down this conspiracy rabbit hole, but I say this to give you confidence in what I'm about to say next. Because what I have to say next, I really need you to bring into your mind to understand this. When you use private entities like business trusts or any other private entities where you establish a bank account and you're asking organizations, even though it's a brand new business that started yesterday, and you're asking for lines of credit or funding, the first thing that the banker thinks is this person is asking for debt. That means I'm going to make money. That means it's my intention as the banker to lend you out as much money as possible or debt as possible so I can make more money. So that's the banker's position. So now you have to take the banker's motivation, which is to give you as much debt as possible, and put yourself in a position so the banker then can just say yes. And that's where the underwriter comes in. The underwriter of these banks just says, if you check off these little boxes of ours, then we have permission from the Federal Reserve to start lending you lots amounts of cash, even if you're not even generating an income, even if you're not giving your social security number, even if you're not giving a personal guarantee. We will still give you tons of money to extend or tons of debt to extend, so then we can get profitable based off the interest that we get back onto you. If you can understand this fact that the banks are motivated in that way, you're going to understand why the side hustle passive income of Turo that I'm talking about has, for me, become so successful. Because if you want to be successful in the Turo game, this is the step-by-step to get you there, as well as the step-by-step for any other passive income streams that I'm going to be discussing in a series here. So the first thing that we got to do is we got to evaluate what your motivation is for Turo. I remember when I first got onto Turo and I was just like, oh man, I'm going to go ahead and look in my area. So I went ahead and I went on the Turo app. And what I did was I brought up the homepage of their website. And what I did was I typed in, oh, okay, well, where am I going to be? I'm going to be in Seattle, right? And I'm going to be near the downtown area. So I just I'll hit search, see what pops up. And when I hit search over on Turo, all these cars come up. Well, wait a minute. Oh, wow. Mercedes-Benz for $375, for $313 for an electric vehicle. Oh, I can get myself a Tesla, a Toyota. But, I'm looking at this and I'm like, looking at all these Turo people. And I'm like, you're pulling in $300? You're pulling in just for a car rental for a day or two? You're pulling in rental. What did I set this for? I set this for, okay, the 31st. Let's just see from the 31st to the 1st. Let's see. What would that give me? There you go. So some people get $107 a day, $196 a day, $94 a day, $65 a day, $67 a day, $100 a day. And I was just like, wow, these are phenomenal numbers that people are making, especially when they have it for like a month out. If I wanted to get a month's worth of a Turo ride and I look at it, people are making buco money. Look at this, almost $2,000 a vehicle, 2,112, 969 a month. 2,000, and this is just a vehicle. This person, $2,500 a month, this person is getting it. And I got to tell you, that is phenomenal how much you can make a Mercedes-Benz. So when I was looking at these numbers, the first thing I started thinking about is what kind of vehicles do I want to get? So I said Mercedes-Benz makes really good here in Seattle. Tesla makes really good. A Dodge Charger, wow. I mean, 62 trips for a Dodge Charger, a 2020 model, and they're making almost $6,000 a month. A month. Crazy. So look, a Lexus RX, almost $3,000 in a month. I mean, this is such a popular, easy to go car, and it's a 2022 model, not that old, not that old. $4,000 for a Tesla. The money-making opportunities for a 2019 Ford Mustang, almost $3,000, $6,000 a month. And this person got 21 trips at $6,000 a month for the BMW Z4, and it's a 2014. Get out of town. Get out of town. So the money-making opportunity for Turo just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, I need to get in this game. So now that I've identified that, hey, I want to get me a BMW, I want to get myself a Mercedes, I want to get myself one of these Teslas, I want to maybe get the Lexus or anything like that. I want to get the Dodge Challenger. Jeez, making tons of money on that one. Now, how do I get into this game? And how do I not only get into this game, but how do I do it in the private? That's the question. That's the objective. So what I had to do is I had to get funding. So I had one of two options, and this is the same two options that you have for yourself. You can do it on the personal credit, or you can do it on the business credit, depending where it is that you're at. At Creditor Academy, we do personal credit repair. If some of you are just like, hey, I want to get into passive income, a side hustle, but my credit is the only thing that is stopping me, Paul Michael, I can honestly afford the monthly payments of some of these vehicles. I mean, I can absolutely pull money together for a 2015 car, Paul Michael. I just need to get my credit up. Then what I recommend that you do is go to www.creditoracademy.com and take our course, I Want Remedy Now. I Want Remedy Now is everything from credit disputes and using lawful administrative procedure to get you remedy, to put you in a position of power, whether it's bankruptcy, student loans, late payments, and the like. We can get that off of the credit report. We teach you how to remove it off of your own credit report. So there is that fact. Now, on the other hand, I wanted to do Turo in a bigger way. I wanted to go beyond just personal. I wanted to get this into the personal credit side. So what I had to do is I had to set myself up to try to get 200,000 in available business credit in order to get multiple vehicles. And so then I can start this Turo side hustle business on a serious note. I didn't want just super old cars that just made me a small passive income. I wanted quality vehicles that I knew that the type of customer base that would want to rent from me would spend the extra amount of money to go ahead and obtain. So what did I have to do to acquire that? Well, for step number one, what you got to do is you got to set yourself up an LLC, getting an EIN number for an LLC. This is the ground starting point, okay? Our LLC is your differentiation of another entity. Now, a lot of other organizations that teach about business credit would probably not say get your EIN number. No, they would tell you the exact opposite. What would they lead you toward? They would lead you towards the state, to the public side. They would say, go to the Secretary of State and get approval to run a business first before you start trying to do business credit. And what does that do? That just creates liability. That brings you into the statutory jurisdiction of the state by registering. Registration just means contracting with them. So we want to separate that out. How do we separate that out? We have to do what we can to make sure that we're in the private. It's as simple as that. And in the private, all you have to do is just one thing. I'll show you. All you got to do to be in the private is just get your EIN number from the IRS. And then the second thing is this. Oh, where did I put it? You got to get a notary stamp. Jeez, I got to find my notary stamp. I had one, thought I had one right ready. But you just get a notary stamp on your declaration of trust document. After you have your EIN number and your notary stamp on your declaration of trust documents, then all you got to do is open up a business checking account, okay? A business checking account. So then you can actually operate in commerce. And that's the beauty of it. Now you have a private entity business that you're able to operate with and build business credit under with just that simple first step. Once you have a business entity, it's then our goal to create a roadmap to show the bank that we can fulfill all of their underwriting requirements. Does that make sense? So what are the underwriting requirements of the bank? There's only two requirements that the bank has, okay? Is one, they want to see that you're a legitimate business. That's all. That's the first thing. They want to see, I want to know that you're a legitimate business. The business trust and the notary and the EIN and setting up the bank account is legitimate, but they also want to see a website. They also want to see that you have a business address. They also want to see that you have a toll-free number for your business. They want to see what your website address is, what's your domain. They want to see a couple other things, you know, but it's not hard stuff. You can get all this stuff to show you're legitimate, honestly, in one day. It would only take you a couple hours. So just right there, you're already halfway through getting $200,000 from the bank to lend you out the debt in which they're going to make money off of you for. So then what's the second thing that you need to satisfy the underwriter's requirements. It's trust. It's as simple as that. The bank needs to see that you're responsible with a little bit of credit, and then they'll give you much credit. This isn't a lot of credit that you have to deal with. We're talking maybe, $20, $30, $50, $100 worth of transactions over the course of 2 to 3 months. Okay, buy a little grocery over here that you had to get anyways. You had to pick up something from the store, do an online purchase and whatnot, enough to just show that transactions are getting started. Once you show that you're trustworthy with a little, and that you optimize your profile to show that you're a legitimate company, then they open up the vault. They give you as much as that you request. Because here's the thing about running a business. Unlike your personal credit gets you to a certain extent. Like if I was just to get one car, maybe even 2 cars, I'd be fine. But getting into 5, 6, 7, 8 different cars, and you'll slowly work your way up, you're going to need more capital and funding. Well, can you imagine you go over to the bank and you say, hey, I'm trying to buy my 5th or 6th car right now for Turo so I can make a really great passive income? The banker then says, hey, this is no longer a personal expense anymore. You're not doing this out of necessity. You're doing this out of wanting to make a revenue stream. And they would be right. Nobody takes I see so many people try to use their personal credit for business, and it only gets them so far. So this is where the business credit comes into play. And it's really advantageous because now you can get buco lines of credit. You can get a whole fleet of vehicles. You can get cash back and rewards points for all your Turo cards. And you can also build up points for all these perks like hotels, for flights, for vacations, for food redemptions, and so much more. To actually operate a business in the private is not only an advantage to not have liability, it is hugely important if you're going to be able to expand your empire, because your empire takes capital. So you got the optimization of the profile. You did all of the checklists there. Now we go ahead and build the trust. Now, how do I build trust, Paul Michael? How do I get a banker, sit with them, and get them to trust me? Okay. Well, this is where we call the tier systems that come into play. And really, it's the same as it's basically getting different types of credit cards from very reliable institutions. It is so important who you build your business credit profile with. These can't be any no names. These need to be big corporations that these banks and credit unions are very familiar with. Okay. So we're talking Amazon. We're talking Lowe's. We're talking Uline. We're talking Granger. We're talking 7-Eleven. We're talking about gas cards from very reputable gas stations like Chevron and so on. So these become your foundations. These are your business partners in extending you lines of credit. Now, granted, the lines of credit are only for their organization, but you at least got a little bit of funding so then you can get started. And the amazing thing is all these corporations will give you these cars with no personal guarantee. They're not going to do a credit check. They only just need your EIN number for your private entity, and they'll extend you $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 worth of trade lines or lines of credit so you can utilize for their products or services. Now the banks are looking at you. Now you go into the bank and you sit down and you just start saying, well, look at my portfolio. Look, I'm a legitimate company. I did all these little 10, 11 steps right here. So I have a presence. And look, the biggest corporations in America extended me little lines of credit. And I've been responsible for the last 2 months making sure that I establish this relationship. Banker, what do you think? Well, the banker is just going to be like, I want to do business with you. I want to do business with you. But here's the thing that the bank's going to say, though. They're like, hey, I got a little bit more structure, though. Here at the bank, you got to check off our boxes. We got to trust you too. So we're going to extend you some line of credit. So you go to one bank, another bank, another bank. I mean, I got Wells Fargo, Bank of America, U.S. Bank, Chase, and a few others. And I also got some other online banking cards as well. So now I got my industry cards from department stores. Now I have my bank cards that are involved with major banking institutions. And now I'm building this strong relationship. And really, I don't stop there. And this is where the third tier starts to come in. The third tier is where we start leveraging, where we want 200,000 or more in lines of credit. At this point, we've maybe got 50, we got 60, we got 80, we might be close to 100K, and we only got it in just a couple months. But we need more than that. We need much more than that, because a company for these Turo vehicles, you got to not only make sure that you have enough capital to be able to get a loan for the vehicles, but then you got to pay for the maintenance. You need to make sure that they're washed and cleaned every single time. There's a little rotation to this, right? So now you need somebody that's not just looking at you as a profile. You need someone who's willing to bet on you and invest in what it is that you're doing. So let's stop right here. And I want to just talk to you directly if you're watching me on my screen. I have 200,000 in a line of credit. Okay. I want to give you all 200,000 right now. I want to give you all 100% 200,000. I want to give you the 200,000 because I believe in your vision and your idea. If your vision and idea is, hey, I want to create a big Turo. Hey, I want to do Airbnb. Or, hey, I want to do a renovation project for real estate. Or maybe you have another business. I want to give you the 200K. I will write you the check. But here's the caveat. You cannot be 50% in. You can't be 70% in. You have to be 100% into the business idea that you want to go ahead and fund and make successful. What that means is I'm going to have a certain standard if I'm cutting you a $200,000 check right now. And that standard is every single week, Monday through Sunday, that you spend this $200,000 just making sure that this business becomes successful, and you put your full efforts into it. You hire employees. You do what you need to do to make that happen. Stop right there. How does that sound? Would you be all in if I wrote you that check? Would you be like, yeah, Paul Michael, I'll go ahead and do it? Or would you have a little whisper of a thought maybe in the back of your mind? And I've heard this many of times. Paul Michael, I wish I could meet you to that standard and be 100% in, but I do have an issue. The issue is I have a family. I have personal expenses. I have my own car, my own gas, my own mortgage, my own rent, my own food expenses. I got kids I'm putting through private school. I've got liabilities to take care of my family. I've got previous debts that I have to keep up with. So it's not that I don't want to take your 200,000 right now, Paul Michael. And it's not that I'm not passionate about the vision. It's just that I have other responsibilities that I need to pay for that cannot afford me to quit my job right now. And my 9-to-5 job of that 40 hours a week is what's funding me to maintain my household and all my debts. And that's what stops most people. It's not that it's difficult to get 200,000. It happens all the time. Even at Creditor Academy, you guys are doing an amazing job at getting these lines of credit. The problem is that you're stuck in your head to that job, making it your God, that you need to be there every day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you leave or quit that job, there goes your entire security blanket for you and your family. Isn't that right? Isn't that the truth? Can I get an amen to that? Because it was the same thought that I had when I first started my home care business over here in Seattle. Is Atlas Home Wellness. And it was the same thing. How can I quit my job working in the medical field to start a home health agency in Seattle and spend the money and the time to do what I need to do? I need to maybe work 40 hours as in the medical field and 10 or 20 hours if I can on my business. And you can't have two masters. Can't serve one or the other. This is why your mindset needs to change. Your mindset should be, Paul Michael, yes, I will take that 200,000. I'll do 100% in. I'm all game on it, but I need to use some of those 200,000 for my own personal expenses. Is that okay? Is that okay? Now think about that for a minute. The same way that I'm talking to you is the same way that a banker is going to be talking to you. And the same way that I am investing in your passion and your vision, I want you to be 100% in, not 50 or 70% in. The banker feels the same way. So not am I just projecting this as my personal opinion, it's my professional opinion. The banker wants you to spend the 200,000 on your personal expenses. That's a shocker for most people. Doesn't that just totally remove the headache and sweat and tears? And you're like, what? I can use all 200K on my personal expenses. Not all of it, but enough to, you got to subsidize your income. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, that's where that 200K comes in, is to pay for those personal that you know have. That 200K is to pay for the groceries. The 200K is to subsidize your loss of income when it came to what you were earning at your 9-to-5 job. And the sooner you start to realize that that's what it's for, the sooner you're going to start getting motivated to start being independent. And that's what sovereignty is all about. Sovereignty is about independence, stepping away from the system that's requiring you to be obedient and a slave to it. You don't have to be a slave to it. You can literally have your life back and be able to build something that somebody else doesn't get to benefit your hard work from. You get to benefit from it. So that's what I did with the Turo game. Is I started with a reasonable amount. A reasonable amount was 150,000. I went and got rid of my old vehicles, and I got all newer ones, not brand new, like newer ones. Used but brand new. What you find a car, I think I'll just get a year old or 2 years old or whatever is selling most on Turo, and then I'm going to be fine. Then I'll go ahead and make a fortune off that. And that's what I did. I was reasonable with the expenses that I was spending on my Turo. So I got 3 vehicles, Range Rover, I got a Lexus, and I got a Ford. Okay, amazing vehicle. The Range Rover is crazy how much that thing goes out for, and I love driving that thing. Gosh, I love driving that thing. And the Lexus, oh my gosh, it cannot stay in. And now the Ford is just as taken out as well. I mean, the Ford is like the most practical vehicle, honestly. And each one now I can barely keep up and have a personal vehicle to drive. So sometimes I got to get Uber drives to go some places. So this is what the bank loves. I now can show on my P&L to the bank that, hey, I need more of a loan for more vehicles and I need to get more. And then I just go over to the dealership. I go ahead and get a new vehicle. I'm actually going to be looking at one this weekend to try to add to it and really increase the amount of revenue. And you can too. And that's the amazing thing is the business credit allows you to do 2 things. And one, it allows you to get your passive income done and ready to go. And the second thing that it does for you is it allows you to remove yourself from your job. So you don't have to work 9 to 5. So it's like you're retiring from slavery while making a passive income. So now you're generating revenue, you're paying back debts, you're getting allotted higher amounts of credit to invest in other great ideas that you had. And now your family gets the benefit as a whole. I love it. I love it. And the thing that's missing inside of this truth movement or about business credit is anybody teaching about how to do it in the private. If you can do this in the private and not have the Secretary of State on you and not have federal governance over you to the extent that they're trying to, in a statutory realm, have control and say over how you run your business, you'd be totally free. You'd be totally free. And the reason why that's doable is because of a business trust. A business trust, your position with a business trust is not that of a corporation, which means a partnership. Okay. So think of it like this. Me and you really want to do business together, right? So I'm going to run the business, but you're going to fund it, let's just say. So we go into what's called a partnership. I would be the administrator, or the board of directors. I'd be the director, excuse me. So I'd be on the board of directors. I'd be the directors, and you'd be a shareholder, right? Because shareholders, you're investing, and you want a return on your investment, which is why you're in the shareholders position. And I'm the director. I'm the one with the vision, the dream, the idea, and I could put it together. Well, in a corporation, they see that partnership happens, and that's where double taxation comes in. That's where the state comes in to regulate us. The state wants their piece of the pie because we identified that between you and me, we are the embodiment of the company, of the corporation. But with a business trust, that flips it on its head. You see, a trustee is equal to a board of directors. It's called the board of trustees. A trustee is entrusted with the management of the trust and holds title of the trust, but does not own it. It just controls it. And a shareholder is not a shareholder. It's called a beneficiary. A beneficiary is not in partnership with a trustee. You're just a third party that's benefiting from what the creator put in place to leave for the benefit for you later. So basically, it's not a partnership. It's not a partnership at all. How could you be partners with somebody when you have no control? How could you own a company when you're a trustee? You're supposed to be unbiased. You're just doing what's in best interest of the shareholder, which is what board of directors do, and you're doing what's in the best interest of the company, right? But legally, it's different. And this is why they hate business trusts, because they have no control over that entity. And if you combine this knowledge of business credit with operating in the private, and then apply that to your Turo side hustle, to your Airbnb side hustle, to your corporate business, to whatever business that you want to start, and you can utilize all of those all that lines of credit to pay for your existing bills. I mean, you're as free can get. What is money at that point, right? There's no liability, and you feel free. And you know what? That's the scary thing that I see a lot of people get into. A lot of people, like I have family members included, and I've done this in the past before too, to where they took their personal credit, they refinanced their house, and they bet their personal credit and their personal liability all on a business idea, and it failed. What does that do to someone's self-esteem or ego when it comes to wanting to try again? If you fail and you're using your personal credits to try to fund these businesses because you didn't want to do the simple things like get a website and just optimize the profile, it could destroy your life. It really can. You need to learn that by being in the private is protecting all of your assets, your family, and your future. Money is not real. Money is funded through debt. Debt is funded through banks. Banks work for the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is a private bank. They are here to make just as much money as you are. And they extend out these lines of credit to anybody as long as they meet the underwriter's requirements. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. And here at Creditor Academy, we're here to teach you how to structure yourself in our courses, our high-level courses. I have instructional designers. I have a learning management system. I have videos. I have gamification. We created a football game just to go ahead and create this to be entertaining. We have a total of 85 full-time passionate staff that are motivated for putting this platform together for the benefit of your success. And what my motivation for putting this platform together is really one thing. It's to do business with you. Doing business with you is opening the doors for opportunity for us both. And when we really talk about it and we really think about where we're at in both of our positions, both as entrepreneurs trying to make it, really, it just becomes so fun because you're surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals that want the same success for themselves and their community. And that's what you're doing. You're helping your community by having quality vehicles for people to rent. You're helping your community by having an Airbnb for a family to stay in that's really nice while they get to enjoy their vacations. You get to help out your community if you help teach people about how to develop their own business credit or do personal credit. You're helping out your community by promoting to other people that you know, other business and corporations, how to operate in the private. Creditor Academy, I want to be your one-stop shop. I want you to learn everything that you need to not only succeed in your personal endeavors, but to get the quality education for you to go ahead to help out your loved ones, your family, and your community around you. The first step is Masterclass. Masterclass is our flagship. It's our entry level into our platform. In our Masterclass, we provide you all the following. We get you your business trust set up. Okay, we give you the documentation. We give you the instructions on how to get the EIN. We teach you how to get the bank account. Second, we help with the private merchant processing. If you're going to be in commerce, you got to be able to accept payments in PayPal, Square, and all the other like big Stripe and all the other big payment processors don't take these business trusts. So a lot of people just shy away from being in the private because of that reason. We have private merchant processing that we get you set up. The third one is we optimize your profile in the private. We help you with the website. We help you with the steps to optimize your profile to the underwriter's requirements. And in all of that we're teaching, we do it in a very structured, systematic way with educators, live recordings, or classes, Q&A sessions, modules that you can go to. But even more importantly, we get you around a community of like-minded individuals, because together, I want you all to prosper in doing business with one another. And Masterclass is where it starts. It's a great value at $69 per month. You get all of that and even more that we give you guys there. So if you're ready to step into the private and you want to make your first steps into removing yourself from the rat race that you're in every single day, and if you want to get this side hustle or any other hustles that you're thinking about put into a plan of action, the first step is to be a Masterclass member. Come join the community and meet other like-minded individuals. I want to thank everybody for being here today. Wow, there is so much that we covered. I was like, man, I've been excited to talk about this subject. So I'm glad that I can have a captive audience for that. You can go to www.creditoracademy.com to become a Masterclass member. But do not forget to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel to join our private Facebook group, our Telegram, our Rumble, our TikTok, and all of the others. Before I close, any comments from anybody inside of the group about what I'm talking about today? Anybody was interested in doing Turo? I heard it from a few of you that you were interested in doing the same thing. Glenda, let's go to you. You're on mute. Amazing.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
No, I didn't have a question. You had said anyone interested in Turo. I am. Once I get all of my paperwork done and get my credit straight, yes, I am definitely interested.
What kind of car are you gonna get?
Gosh, I don't know yet. I'm thinking of. I would like to hit the market where there's Uber drivers and those type of businesses that can rent my vehicle for a long period of time. So I would think that it would need to be something that's economical, but I'm not sure just yet.
Yeah, it's you know, I looked at the economical. I mean, economy is so broad, right? Because you can be economical with like the highest end Tesla, right? So you're like, is it economical? Is it electric? Is it not? And whatnot? And what do you live next to a major city?
I live in the Dallas, Texas area.
Oh my gosh, that is the spot.
Yeah.
Oh. So
my daughter had a Mercedes, and she constantly rented that out. So I feel like whatever we rent, I think it will do well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, yeah, I mean, getting the business credit is one thing. I mean, if you're going to get just one vehicle, you know, you could get your personal credit involved and really transfer the responsibility to a business trust as well. I mean, just basically just switching over the title to the business trust and calling up the lender and saying, hey, my business trust owns this entity, so go ahead and collect the checks from them.
Okay. It sounds like a plan.
All right. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. No, thank you for that, Glenda. Everybody else that's watching us on YouTube, same to you. If you feel like that you got a really good idea, we want to hear it. So go to our website and please reach out to us. You can hit the contact us form. You can email us or anything like that. This is a call to action as well as it is a public service announcement. Thank you all for being with me this Tuesday. This Thursday, I'm going to be talking about my properties and how I set it up into the private as well as how I do the Airbnb real estate rentals and stuff like that. I have some personal experiences with it. I have some positives and negatives to say, but I'm here to tell you, with the lines of credit that you're able to utilize, it makes the journey a lot more fun and less stressful. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves and enjoy the summer weather.